Now that we have learned the parts of speech, we are going to be able to put those together to create actual meaning and actual sentences. And if we look at our slides today, we're going to break down how that works and what that looks like in terms of communication and how sentences are made and what exactly makes something a sentence and what makes something not. And that comes up a lot in our revision process. Your professor or teacher, or whomever, might put not a sentence or fragment. What does that exactly mean and how do we fix it? And so if we look today, we're going to start talking about the basic parts of speech. When words combine to form a sentence, that's when we make meaning, right? We can know what a noun is, and we can even like put a noun with an adjective, right? We could have a happy puppy, but until we put all of these parts of speech together, we're not getting that rich meaning that we're able to get. As these sentences, increase in complexity and sophistication, they end up taking on this great meaning. Think of it like ants. One ant is very tiny, right? It can still do great things considering it's an ant, but it's limited. However, when all the ants in a colony, thousands of them, if you ever as a kid like stepped on an anthill, combine their efforts, each ant works together, much like words in a sentence, and works collectively to move and create objects that are much larger than they are individually. Like ants, these words work together to form endless possibilities in terms of communication. So what is a sentence? A sentence is simply a group of words that expresses a complete meaning. That word complete is very important here. In English, every sentence has two main parts, a complete subject and a complete predicate. Only when these two words are used together, when they are present, can a sentence express a fully complete thought and really be a sentence. The complete subject contains the noun, pronoun, or group of words acting as a noun, plus their modifiers that tells who or what the sentence is about. The complete predicate consists of the verb or verb phrase, plus any modifiers and complements that tell what the complete subject does or is. So in this way, if we look, we end up dividing our sentences in half between a complete subject and a complete predicate. So in our first sentence, it's a very, very simple sentence, right? Critters creep. Critter is the subject. Creep is the predicate. It's the action. Notice we get a little more complex with a bell clanging streetcar. All of that is part of the complete subject. And then moved through the intersection is our complete predicate. So if we're looking at complete and subjects and predicates, it includes every word in the sentence, and it's literally drawing a line between them. So wood or cellulose, both the subject. So our verb's telling us is a verb. It's telling us here comes the predicate, is a delicious meal for a termite. The candidate's pragmatic approach to fiscal problems, all of that is a subject because the predicate really doesn't start until we get a verb. Impressed the voters attending the rally last Thursday. These complete subjects and predicates can get broken down into simple ones. So narrowed down even further. So when all modifiers and complements are removed or ignored from the sentence, like taken out, we look for the words that are essential, the essential simple subject and the essential simple predicate. The simple subject is the simple noun or pronoun or group of words that acts upon a noun that cannot be left out of the complete subject, and the simple predicate is the same but with the verb. So for instance, if I have the sentence, many horror films have used bugs to terrifying effect. If we look at and break the sentence in half like we have been doing with complete, the complete subject is many horror films. What have they done? They have used bugs to terrifying effect. However, if we're looking for the simple subject, the only noun or part of speech in that subject that is doing the action is films. So we ask ourselves to find simple subjects and simple predicates. We ask who or what for the simple subject, for the simple predicate, does what, right? Or is what. So the complete predicate have used bugs to terrify an effect. The verb or verb phrase in this case, because of the tense, the past tense, is have used. With objects, let's look at this sentence here. Studies of insects have certainly revealed much about their behavior. In this example, and this is if any of you have taken ACT, this is where, and I teach this to my high school students, ACT can get very tricky because we have our verb have revealed and where our simple verb, our simple predicate. And when I say simple verb or simple predicate, I mean the verb, the essential verb. So I'll use those terms interchangeably. We want to think of insects, right? Insects have certain, like it's right next to it. It's got to be it, but it's not, right? The insects themselves aren't revealing anything. It's the studies. I don't know why it says studious. For that, I apologize. Not insects, which is the object. Anything that is the object of a preposition that follows behind a preposition, that whole prepositional phrase can never, it can be part of the complete subject. It can never, ever be a simple subject. I have to say it again. Prepositional phrases, any part of it, the object, the preposition itself, can never be part of the subject. And in this case, the simple verb have revealed is separated by certainly. Certainly cannot be part of the verb because it's the simple verb because it's not a verb, it's an adverb, right? It's telling us how it had been revealed. Fragments. When either the complete subject or complete predicate is missing, the resulting group of words can never, ever, ever constitute a sentence. This is what we call a fragment. A fragment is a group of words that is incomplete. It's not a complete thought. We correct them as writers by adding the missing parts. So for example, if I'm reading something or I'm writing something, let's put myself in the hot seat. I'm writing something and I say people allergic to bug bites. I'm left wondering, or my audience is left wondering, people allergic to bug bites, what? To do what? What is the action? And so a complete sentence would be adding the predicate. People allergic to bug bites, what should they should avoid the outdoors. Here's a fragment from the barn. I'm missing a subject. Or actually, in this case, I'm missing a subject and a simple subject and a simple predicate because, or complete, because this is a prepositional phrase. That's not part of it or not essential to either. So to complete it, I add flies from the barn. What did they do? They made their way into the house. When we are just talking and having conversations, fragments are usually acceptable. Since when we're speaking, we have all these other tools that go into, if we're having a conversation, we have repetition, our voice tone, our gestures, the context, of what's being discussed, the relationship between that person you're talking to, including prior conversations, and facial expressions all help to communicate meaning. However, when in academic writing, fragments should be avoided at all costs since the reader is alone with the words, right? They can't consult the writer. Like if I'm reading something you wrote or you're reading something I write, I'm not there with you. And in terms of reading things that are published, we can't get in touch with the writers. Like I can email you and you can email me because we have that sort of relationship established. In terms of Amy Tan, reading Amy Tan this week, I don't know Amy Tan. I wish I did. I love Amy Tan, but I do not know her and cannot get in contact with her to ask and qualify. Therefore, because of that, in academic writing, fragments are considered errors. They're considered wrong. Sometimes we have more than one subject or verb. Sometimes a sentence may contain what we call a compound subject or compound verb. For example, in this one, the campers and hikers repelled the mosquitoes with insect spray. Both campers and hikers are doing the repelling, right? Repelling is our verb. They're both doing it. Same thing in this one, flies, gnats, or bees are always buzzing around the garbage can. Conjunctions usually show us that we have a compound. We can even have a compound verb, right? I neither saw them or heard them. Neither, because of that or, neither one of those have preference over the other. I'm doing both. So both of those are my verb with my subject I. Sometimes you can have a compound subject and a compound verb. Both my father and my brother, father, brother, compound simple subject, swatted at the fly, missed it, and smacked each other in the head. Simple subject, my simple verbs are swatted, missed, smacked. Hard to find subjects. In certain types of sentences, the position of a subject in relation to a verb may change. Normally, we have subject or complete subject, complete predicate, right? And the complete predicate usually starts with the verb. In some parts, in types of sentences, that is not always the case. In most declarative sentences, the subject comes in front of the verb, right? If I'm saying Claudia went to the grocery, Claudia, starting the sentence, my subject. What did she do? She went. However, there are two exceptions to this rule in declarative sentences. That's most sentences that begin with there or here, because there is not the subject, right? It is a preposition. And sentences that are inverted for emphasis. So for instance, in the first example, there are my subway tokens. There is not doing anything. It's not the one doing the action, the are. They're inverted. So sometimes it may help to revert the sentence. My subway tokens are there. Ah, we're seeing that it's now the object. What is the simple subject? Tokens. Same thing. Deep into the Canaveras tunnel went the subway crew. The subway crew went into the cavernous tunnel. Excuse me. Went is the verb. Crew is the subject. In interrogative sentences, that's a fancy way of saying questions. They can either follow or subvert the traditional subject verb order. Sometimes the subject is first, sometimes it's not. So when looking for the subject and the verb, sometimes it's to help is to just rewrite it or reframe it as a statement. So is the coffee ready? Restate it as the coffee is ready. Then it's super clear we're in the traditional order. Coffee subject is verb. And imperative sentences, which are commands like go to the grocery, pick up, like we use them with our children all the time, right? Pick that up, clean that, blah, blah, blah. It's when you command someone to do something, right? Go buy me some chips at the store. In these sentences, almost always, you're never actually going to get the subject stated, right? The verb is clearly buy, that's an action, or go buy. In that case, it's implied that it's you, right? You never have to usually say it. You go buy me some chips, but that is the actual subject. It's never stated. It's just implied. If you have any questions about subjects and predicates, feel free to reach out to me. Your exercises are uploaded, and I look forward to seeing them. Thank you.